Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
Sister, you never really arrive. You never arrive. You never get to there. There is no final destination of the thing that you're trying to do or be better at, whether it's you as a mother, as a wife, as a businesswoman. A better you. There is no end point. I guess unless you think that the end point is death, and for some of you, you might see that, well, that's just the time that you're here in this physical body, but, you know, your soul lives on. That's what I believe. But there is no end to it. And just when you think that you got it, you don't. And the rules change. We're like, man, this is such an uplifting podcast today, Karen. Thank you so much. You rock. No, let's talk about this for a moment. So it's like, I'm dropping off my kids at school today. And I'm thinking, I'm just kind of, you know, I'm thinking about, I'm marinating over what was the lesson and what was I supposed to see in the situation today. So, you know, kids were fairly good today, and drop off, not a big deal. And it's a rainy day today, kind of into fall and moving into winter season. And here in Victoria, BC, Canada, where I live, that means we get some rain, right? And so, you know, with the kids are playing outside and stuff, like, they gotta wear rain boots. If they just wear their running shoes and wear them inside, it's muddy and stuff. So Tyson kind of, you know, decides 2 minutes before the bell goes off, because we got to school a little bit early today, that he would like to wear his running shoes. And I'm like, dude, no, but I'm doing it. And I go, no, you're not, buddy. And the reason why is that you're going to bring your muddy shoes inside. You're going to create a mess, and somebody has to clean that up. And that's not fair. It's not okay. That's not the way. We wouldn't wear muddy shoes inside of our home. You don't wear muddy shoes inside your school. You treat it like it's your home. Now he looks around, and most of the kids are all wearing running shoes, right? All the other kids, and I'm like, you know what, buddy? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So then it became, I'm the worst mom ever, and he's all upset, and, you know, then he didn't want to go into school, and I pick him up, and I go, you're going into school, your iPad's going to be gone for a week. And, you know, there's this interesting thing that happens when you're a parent, when you feel like you're backed into a corner. And I felt like I was backed into a corner. When I get backed into a corner, I become the reactive parent. No excuses. This is just an observation of me. And when I become reactive, what it starts to be now is like, what's the punishment? What's the thing that I'm going to take away that will be painful enough to get you to try to flip so I can get you to do what I want right now, which is to wear your fucking boots, kid. Like, not a biggie. But yet, it's a big deal when you're 7.5 years old. And you are my son, who just wants to do things the way that he wants to do things. And there's a line of that where it's not like, okay, buddy, go ahead, see what happens, right, with that. See what your teacher, he's like, well, I'll just wipe off my shoes. And I'm like, dude, you'll be white. I'm like, you can't. I get it. And there's times that I'm just like, all right, you're going to have to see what the consequences of that choice now, right? But today it was like, no, buddy, it's raining, it's mucky, you're going to run outside, and like, no. You know, he already is that kid at times where he won't change back into his shoes, and he's wearing his muddy boots, and then the teacher's like, it's a thing, right? So today was one of those back to the corner moments. I'm like, if you don't get inside, you're losing your eye. Because then he's like, well, I'm not going to school. And he's just sitting there in the wet ground. Like a standoff, right? And here I am in that corner, backed right out and going, I don't know where to go. So what do I pull out of my back pocket? Tyson, if you don't get into school right now, buddy, you're going to lose your iPad for a week. Oh, you're the worst. You know, watch him walk inside. And then, because I got my little one with me too, and we got to go to the kindergarten line and get Kai situated. And then I go back to make sure that Tyson has actually made his way up to his classroom. And then he's they're all kind of taking their stuff out of their backpacks off and putting things away in their cubby. He's talking to his bros, and it looks like everything's kind of copacetic, right? But like, not the way that I like to say goodbye to my kids in the morning. And so I take a look at that and I go, man, since I became a parent almost 8 years ago, like, there's been a lot of progression, a lot of growth. And I don't find that I am as reactive anymore, and I don't yell like I used to. And, like nobody's perfect, but it felt like this big slip back today. So then as I'm rolling up to Starbucks here, and I'm going, what is this lesson? Outside of a deer decided to walk right in front of me. Hey, deer. We have deer here in Victoria. Kind of like cows in India. They are like sacred, beautiful creatures, but there we go. So yeah, I'm like, what is the lesson, all this stuff? I'm like, oh, I got it. You never arrive. You never get there. And so why does that happen? Where we feel like, oh, I thought I had this, or, we take a look maybe at weight loss or fitness, like, oh, I thought I had this, or with your marriage, oh, I thought I had this. I think a couple things come up. Is number one, parenting, marriage, your health. These are like living things. They are ever evolving and changing. They're not static, they are dynamic. Meaning that, they're going to constantly be changing. And so just because you feel that you got things all figured out at one part or one segment or one area of it, because it's a living, breathing thing, it's going to change. And because there's people involved in all of those things, marriage, your children, your health, then, they're changing. And so you got to learn how to adapt. Things are going to change. And so they are lessons in adaptation as to, okay, what do I need to do now? Who do I need to become now? How do I need to show up now in this moment? Like, that's number one. And here's number two is like, the reason we're presented these lessons is for us to become better. Because when we learn how to adapt, that's how we become better. Listen, if I had kids that I would just say one thing and they'd go, okay, mommy, and like nothing, there's never any pushback. There's never any complaining. There's never any, and if you're a parent, you're probably now going, well, like, I don't know what child that is, because that is like a fantasy child. Like, it just doesn't happen that way, right? But every single time that I have those moments with my kids, every single time that my husband and I go through a period within our marriage, every single time that I go through something within my health, it allows me to adapt and grow and become better. To expand into a better version of me. To be a better me, to be a better mother, and if it wasn't for those moments, I would never have that experience. And guess what happens? Some people, and this might be you, sister, you've gotten to there in your life. And that might be that you went from, terrible in your marriage, talking about divorce, to like, now you're actually having date nights, right? Or you went from, not getting along with your children, or just fighting with one all the time, to like, hey, things are like pretty good, right? Or you went to, being 80 pounds overweight, and now you're like 10 pounds away from weight loss goal. Like, and so what can happen though is when we go from one place to there, that arrival destination that we often see as the goal, the outcome, is that we think that we're done. And then what do? We put the brakes on, and then we just coast. We just coast. We go, I don't need to really work that hard at the gym anymore. Like, we're out of the divorce conversation, so, we're just gonna have our date nights. If you miss one or two, no big deal. My kids aren't, freaking out anymore, and they're kind of doing okay in school, so, I'm just gonna kind of back off on any of the stuff that we were doing before. Like, we're good kind of thing, right? But what happens is when we stop investing in those areas of our life, money, time, energy, attention, like anything that we want to keep growing, if we don't invest into it, if we don't keep doing what made it grow in the first place, it begins to actually die. We begin to actually retract, and it goes back, not forward. So you think if you just stop like putting attention into it, that it'll just kind of stay where it is, but that is not the case at all. It'll actually retract. It'll start to go back. It'll go back to the way things were before. And you'll get lazy and you'll go, but I've worked so hard. I just don't want to have to do anymore. Listen, there's been a lot of things with my oldest son, Tyson. I love Tyson. He is truly the best teacher I've ever had in my life. And it's fucking hard some days. It is brutal hard. And there are times, I've said this to one of my good friends, and, she has girls that have had some different challenges as well too. And she's like, Karen, these children chose us for a reason. And I reflect on this video that I saw from Lewis Howes, who has a podcast called School of Greatness, and he's done lots of amazing things. And he had a guest, and I'm gonna get the video to show you. But it's at the beginning, it's like what every parent needs to know. But I think it's beyond that. I think the conversation might have been about parenting, and it looks like the video went viral. I think it's had like 20 million views or something crazy like that. But the message is basically this: life is fucking tough, and life is brutal. Like it is. It's going to be challenging. It's going to kick you in the ass. But you are stronger than you think. Like you are strong enough to get through this. You are stronger than the challenge that is in front of you. So when you think that you've gotten to there, what you basically are saying is, you know what? I got this down. I've mastered this. I don't need to go any further. And guess what life is going to do? It's going to go, oh, you thought you had it all together? Here's a curveball for you. Deal with that now. Because you got complacent and lazy, so we're going to have to wake your ass up and send you something to snap you out of the stupor of like somehow you arrived. Because there is no arrival. And the message of this video, which is so, so powerful and so real, is, again, yes, you're going to get your ass kicked. Yes, there's going to be brutal things that happen in life. But you are stronger than the thing in front of you. Maybe that's my deeper lesson for today in this experience with my oldest son, is like, I am stronger than that. I can choose to show up differently. Maybe it really didn't matter that much. Maybe I made a big deal about him putting his boots on. Like, I'm stronger than that challenge. Nor do I have to go through this experience and go, oh my God, I thought I had again arrived. I thought I had gone past this. No, you're going to go back to old patterns at times. If anything, again, just to let you see of where you, like, as I used to be in that place a lot of time, battling with Tyson daily. And so it's not a common thing. And so when I take a look at that, I go, you know what, man, there's been massive growth and expansion for me as a mother for both of my children. But particularly with Tyson. And so the fact that I fell off the wagon today, or, had the battle of the ego, battle of the wills. Who's going to win this one? Oh, I'm backed in a corner. Let me go I'm going to take something away from you. And that the challenge in front of me, no matter what is happening, whether it's parenting or otherwise, is I'm stronger than that challenge. So here's your more tip for today then, sister. Where do you think that you have arrived somewhere? So maybe it's the examples that I gave you. Maybe it's parenting for you. Maybe it's your marriage. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's something with your business. Maybe it's something spirituality. And you've been delivered a recent curveball in life where you're like, what? I thought I had this all down pat. And maybe you're beating yourself up, and maybe you're going, why me? And maybe you're going like, can I just get a fucking break today? And I want you to open up your journal. And I want you to write about why you are stronger than the challenge in front of you. When you look back again at past experiences, you're like, man, I got through this. I got through that thing. I can get through this thing. Like, this is why I'm stronger. Like a pep talk for yourself, but real, not just bullshit. And from where I went to dropping off Tyson to oh God, that was not great. I don't like having, I almost I was almost, when I saw him and they were getting his coat off and I went back to the classroom to go see Tyson, I'm like, I should go over and say something. I'm like, you know what? He's with his friends. Let's just let that go. But I will address it when I pick him up. I'm just like, buddy, I'm sorry. I just want to fight with you before dropping off for the day. What if something was to happen to me, right? And that's the last memory my son has of me. These moments matter. And perhaps I need to get this, perhaps I also need to get this kick in the gut right now to say, yeah, Karen, what if that was the last moment that your son saw you? Is that the memory you want to imprint in him? and maybe lighten the fuck up some days. And the pulling out the back pocket of the, let me take something away. You know, you're stronger than that. You're better than that, girl. You don't need to do that. You're stronger than this challenge. There are other ways to handle it. And that experience allows me to, again, not just feel like, oh, I've kind of got stuff like dialed down with it. No, there's no arriving, Karen. And here was the message for me to be able to see this today. And I'm stronger than the challenge in front of me. And it's easy to go to the place of ego in any situation in your life, isn't it? As Tyson's saying stuff and other parents for other kids. Yeah, sure, that was an ego blow. But I'm stronger than that. And you are stronger than the challenge in front of you right now, sister. So journal this of why you are stronger than the current challenge that you are facing, for you to be able to see this. And this challenge in front of you has been presented to you as a gift, not to you, not happening to you, happening for you. And it doesn't mean that you can't think or feel that it sucks. But understand there's a purpose behind this for you to see. And perhaps the biggest one today is for you to see how strong that you really are, sister. So, finishing this podcast, 2 things. Number 1, if you do not subscribe to the Women Wanting More newsletter, I want you to do that right now. Head over to drkarenosborne.com/action guide. I'm sending you some cool training videos, and you will get first dibs on my books coming out within the next couple of months by the end of 2018. So that's at drkarenosborne.com/action guide. And I still have some free journals. I was going to count them recently. I have not yet. I will towards the end of this week to let you know exactly what's left. But I started mailing those out a year ago, because it's just big. Actually, I did it September of 2017, so a little bit over a year ago. And when I began sending out these free journals, over 500 have been sent out personally by me. All of it. Because I had so many say, I don't know how to journal, or I don't have a journal, and so I sent you one. And you're going to also get some information about a how to journal course that I created that helped a lot of women as well too, because they didn't know how to journal once they got the journal. So to get one of the last remaining ones, you can head over to drkarenosborne.com/journal, or it's drkarenosborne.com/free journal. And gosh dang it, I forget which one it is. So I'm going to give you both, drkarenosborne.com/journal or drkarenosborne.com/free journal. And guess what? When you actually subscribe to the newsletter, you get the show notes. So when you hear me mention these different links or resources, you just get to click on it. You won't have to be like, oh crap, let me write that down. Let me rewind that piece of the podcast. And what did Karen just talk about? Okay, at the very least, you're listening on your episode. Open up the show notes from here, and you can click on the link right away. So I will talk the next episode, sister. A life of more is one step away from you realizing that there is no finished line. There is no end. And that you are stronger than you realize. Every single day. I love and appreciate you.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosborne.com/newsletter.